What are you doing in my swamp? What are you doing in my swamp?
Hello everybody, this is Overboy, and I'm going to be doing my review for the 2005 movie Zathura, A Space Adventure. This is a standalone spin-off movie to Jumanji that follows two brothers, Walter and Danny, who are always constantly arguing. They can't get along for nothing and everything, and they end up playing this game together called Zathura that takes them into outer space, and each time one takes a turn they have to face different obstacles, kind of like in Jumanji, except instead of with animals and the jungle and stuff, it's set with space stuff. And they have to learn how to work together in order to get to go home. This is an alright movie. I hadn't seen this one in a really long time. It's probably been about almost probably 15-16 years since the last time I saw it. I saw it like when it very first premiered on Stars and everything. I think I've seen it maybe one or two other times since then, but it's not one that I've really revisited very much. But I think it's a alright movie, and it held up a lot better than I remembered. I think Josh Hutcherson and Jonathan Bobo are alright as Walter and Danny, although Jonathan Bobo's acting is pretty bad. But since he's a kid actor, I'm gonna give him a pass. I know a lot of people don't like giving kid actors passes, but I always do. I mean, you can't really expect super great things out of kid actors. Sometimes you get really good performances, and sometimes you don't. And this is one of those cases where you don't. I don't really fault him. He just did the best that he could, I guess. Josh Hutcherson, though, I think was pretty decent as Walter. He was already kind of becoming big and stuff when this movie came out, and he's had much better performances, though, but he's fine in this movie, and the two of them did work good together. They were believable as brothers that didn't get along. Kristen Stewart plays their sister Lisa, and she's pretty good in here too. She's kind of over the top in this, like her acting is like really she like goes really over the top and stuff with her line delivery and stuff, and it's kind of annoying, but I think that's how the character was meant to be and everything. She does an alright job playing the character. Tim Robbins plays their dad. He's only in here at the beginning and the end of the movie, but he's good in the little bit of time we get with him in here. I was actually hoping he'd be in the movie a lot more than he was. And Dax Shepard plays an astronaut who gets brought into the game and stuff, and apparently he was like a person that was sucked into the game, that kind of like how Alan Parrish was sucked into the game of Jumanji and everything. But they have this big twist at the end, which I'm not going to tell you if you haven't seen it, because I know a lot of people don't talk about Zathura, and it is technically part of the Jumanji franchise and everything, but nobody ever talks about this one and everything, so I'm not going to spoil the big twist at the end, but I remember when I saw it the first time, it really took me by surprise, and rewatching it, and everything, I somewhat remembered it, but by the time it got to a certain point in the movie, I was like, yeah, I remember what happened and everything. So it had its moments where I kind of knew what to expect, and then I didn't when it comes to that twist. But this movie holds up really well, though. I was very surprised like how good the special effects held up in this movie, because I remembered there being like these giant lizard things in here, and for some reason I was thinking they were gonna really suck, because I thought they were gonna be really bad early 2000 CGI and stuff, and watching it and seeing they were practical effects and stuff, that they actually looked really good, and this movie uses very little CGI. And I think the only time the lizard things, they're called Zorgons, which sounds like something from Power Rangers. Only time they are CGI is like when they're running and stuff went away from the camera, kind of like in Jurassic Park, how the dinosaurs are only CGI when they absolutely have to be. but they look really awesome and really cool. And Derek Mears actually plays one of the Zorgons. I don't know which one. I think it's the one that's the leader of them. But to be honest, I'm not exactly sure which one. They all look alike. So I mean, but I still thought that was a really cool little fact that I never knew about this movie. Like I said, there's very little CGI. It's mostly practical effects and stuff and sets and everything. So they did a really good job with this movie. Like it holds up a lot better than I expected to. And like visual effects wise, I hate to say it, but it actually holds up better than the visual effects in Jumanji. But I personally like Jumanji's characters and story a lot better. But this is still a pretty solid movie though. John Debney does a really good job with the score. It has that epic sci-fi feeling to it that like it feels like it fits in stuff like Star Trek or Star Wars, and fits like along with those kind of sci-fi stuff. It fits this movie really well. And it's kind of an underrated score too, but this is kind of an underrated movie in a way. But there are things about it that I don't like though. Like I said, Jonathan Bobo's acting was not very good, and the two boys are really obnoxious and stuff, and their fighting and stuff gets really annoying. Like there's times in this movie where it kind of starts feeling like it's forced, like they're trying to keep them fighting just to have drama on the screen and stuff. It kind of gets old. You'd think they would have started working together a lot better by the time things went on. Like I think that like Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, for example, has two brother characters that don't get along very well at first and stuff, but as the movie progresses and stuff, things get better between the two of them. And I think that's a better example of how to do a good sibling relationship in a movie like that. This one just didn't do it as well, but it did have its moments and stuff. And there are some really funny moments, especially at the twist and stuff. There's a little thing with Kristen Stewart that was kind of funny, and it has some good moments. It's not super great, but it's definitely not absolutely horrible either. It's a lot better than I remembered it to be, and now I'm honestly surprised people haven't gone back and revisited this movie, because it is pretty good. And with Jon Favreau becoming as big as he has in the last few years, he directed this movie and everything. You would think that people would have started to go back and revisit it, but they haven't and everything. Maybe they're like me, they think it would have aged poorly, but it really hasn't. And I didn't know that it actually got really good reviews when it hit theaters and stuff. Like critics really liked it. And I remember when it went to theaters, I wanted to go see it and everything, but at the same time I didn't, because it came out the same weekend as Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, and there was no way, if I was going to the movies that week, that I would have chose Zathura over that and everything. But I think this is a pretty good movie that holds up and is a lot better than I remembered it to be, and it's definitely worth watching again. If you saw it a long time ago and didn't enjoy it, maybe give it a watch and see if you like it more. If you don't like it because of the boys being annoying, though, I can completely get it, because they are very annoying, both of them, of the characters are, and everything. But so I'd say I'd give Zathura, A Space Adventure, a 7 out of 10. It's not super great or anything, but it's definitely not terrible either. It's a lot better than I remembered, but the stuff with the boys arguing through the whole movie and stuff gets on my nerves really bad, so it takes it down. I was going to give the movie at least an 8 out of 10, but because of how annoying they were to me, I decided to drop it to a 7. But anyway, let me know in the comments what you think of Zathura, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good day, everybody.